Well. Look who we have here. If it ain't the Capital Recovery Center recovery coach. Well, my name is Craig. Good to be with you today.
Good day, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Michael. Look who we have here. Capital Recovery Coach. Good day.
And I'm Karen, also Capital Recovery Coach.
Listen, we have fun around here, man. You gotta have fun, man. Clean, serene, fun. And recovery, man. We've been we got a lot of announcements for you guys today. We got recoveries on wheels on Monday, recovery on wheels on Wednesday, and I skipped over something for Saturday. Yeah, Saturday.
Saturday we're having our Out of the Darkness suicide prevention walk at the CC Tech. Registration is at 8:30 in the morning, and the walk will begin at 9:30.
All right, man. Try to tune in and come on out and support. We're supporting Overdose Aware Out of the Darkness event, suicide walk.
It is an event to raise money for critical research and prevention programs.
That's right.
And on today, before it's too late, we have our Power Shower to Empower event at the Salvation Army on Chestnut Avenue, located in Violent. If you know anyone, please send them out there now.
What time that event over?
At 2 p.m.
2 p.m. You still got a whole hour to participate in that event. I mean, we have a whole lot of host of stuff that we be doing for Cumberland County in general. But here at Capital Recovery Center, if you're in need of any services for outpatient or inpatient treatment, need help with some utility assistance, we have a host of things. One day we're going to do a live of every services and things that we provide at our agency. That would be nice. We can do like a PowerPoint live and go through. Yeah, we're gonna do that. We probably do that. Whenever we can catch Craig in the building the whole week, we put it together.
Yeah, because I'm the copy and paste master.
As always, man, we welcome everybody to sharing our fun that we have and also the services that we provide for our Cumberland County residents. Our number is 856-391-7449. And our motto is, how can we help you with your recovery today?
Fun.
Let's see what we can do today. Today, we're going to finish a part that we had already started a couple of weeks ago. And it was talking about, so you've been clean and sober, but you relapsed. What now? So we're going to finish this particular lesson up because I think it is very important that we, when individuals suffer a relapse, that they know some of the things that they can possibly do instead of sitting in guilt and shame and beating themselves up in their conscious mind, allowing their conscious mind to beat them up. So you can figure out what to do after the fact. I always do not take lightly that if you're able to hear us now and watch this video later and you suffered the relapse, I thank God that you're able to get back up because a lot of people who relapse didn't get the opportunity. So I don't take that light. Where this handout came from, the Cornerstone of recovery.com website. The link is in the description for those on YouTube and Facebook. And if you would like to go to the Cornerstone of recovery.com website, that's where this handout came from, and you'll be able to download things or read things on their website just like we are doing. All right, so we're going to pick up on, so you relapse, what now? Retool your approach. I always say that, Craig. Retool your approach, because if you relapse, if you had a relapse prevention plan in place and you suffer a relapse, you have to do some changes. You might not have to change your whole relapse plan, but it's going to have to be some minor adjustments, some retooling going on. Something has to change. So let's see what we got here. You want to go?
Sure, I'll read it.
All right, bud.
And it reads, it says, a huge factor in relapse avoidance comes through laying the groundwork early in the recovery process for a robust program that safeguards against returning to drug and alcohol use. As Guzel and McChargle points out, these are two people, I believe, who did a study. The prevention of relapses is perhaps the most fundamental task in substance use disorder recovery. 5 broad strategies have been used in relapse prevention. Number 1, therapy. Number 2, medication. Number 3, monitoring. 4, peer support. And 5, emergent intervention. Individuals often combine. I'm in the wrong.
No, you're good.
Okay.
Let's not call this one.
All right. I didn't know. I want to join. All right.
Good.
Individuals often combine 2 or more of these approaches in their recovery plans. It should be noted, however, that the 5th strategy, emergent interventions, deals largely with hypothetical and experimental treatments that have yet to receive widespread clinical scrutiny or application.
These are all very, these strategies are strategies that can be revisited over or repeated. And the reason why I say that is because you know how the 5 stages of change. If you don't know, the 5 stages of change.
Boy,
you
hold on,
when
man. You
you go
get deep
through-
already.
When
Go
you,
ahead,
when
brother.
you go through these stages, it's possible for you to revisit some of those other stages in your process of recovery. So similarly, these strategies right here, you probably can revisit them at somewhere during the process of your recovery. For example, the Suboxone I explained before that I used the medication when I couldn't stop the craving for the heroin and I got on Suboxone, right? If a relapse would occur in a person's life who took that strategy, they could revisit going back to the Suboxone again if they needed to because of the cravings or whatever. I'm not saying that's a recommendation. I'm just saying that it's possible that you could go back to one of these strategies. And then when you think about the peer support, is one of the things I think is very important, that you have people you can be real with. Like I said, I think earlier this week, you need peer support, someone you can discuss, or a mentor or spiritual advisor, or recovery coach. You need those in your life. These strategies are very profound.
Mm-hmm.
All right, buddy.
You want me to continue on?
And those plans, it says, in those plans, Lee points out, are often long-term. Recovering people struggling with a substance use disorder are encouraged to take their sobriety one day at a time.
Right.
But that's predicted on the idea that part of each day is dedicated to putting in more leg work than simply staying abstinent. So that's, it's saying that we can use the slogan one day at a time, but that means, or you know, half of your time is spent on your recovery process. You can't just be winging it and thinking, well, I'm taking it one day at a time. All right, did you go to any meetings? No, I'm taking it one day at a time. Did you read a book? No, I'm just thinking. So what are you doing when you're taking it one day at a time to fill up your mind or your time in general?
Are you just contemplating the idea of saying sober?
Yeah.
Or are you meeting with a sponsor? Or are you just reaching out to me, a recovery coach?
Hey, call me up, man.
Here at Capital Recovery Center. There's the number below the screen. Please reach out to not only me, but these 2 lovely people as well. All right?
Yeah. Part of the recovery process is understanding that it's really a way of life. It's not like I was an alcoholic and my drinking was out of control. I still have things to do today to stay sober, and if I don't do them, I'm in danger. There's no guarantee that if I don't do these things, I'll stay sober. And I think that's part of what happens with relapse. Ego gets in the way, intelligence gets in the way, a lot of things gets in the way, because the person that's struggling can be really stubborn. That is so true. Whenever you become, my mentor told me, you can always tell when you're headed down the wrong path. And I said, how? He says, whenever you only take your own advice. I said, wow. He said, whenever you find yourself only taking your advice, like you're not asking other people, he says you are in danger of going to a relapse because you won't listen to nobody. You're like, no, I know what I'm talking about. And you only take your own advice. So when this happens, it says egos gets in the way. Intelligence gets in the way. A lot of other things gets in the way because the person struggling can be really stubborn. I know it all. My clients, when I was talking to my clients, when I was doing relapse prevention, and they used to be like, man, Mr. Mike, man, I know all this recovery stuff, man. You can't tell me nothing. And I used to say, you absolutely right. I need you to use what you know. I know you know it. This is your 10th program. You better know at least the first step. I need you to use it. So when I started using it, one of my favorite words is application. Information plus application equals destination. If you will apply the information that we are giving you, you'll reach the destination of sobriety.
Theory without application is
Useless. Useless, man. And we got that in our college class.
Yeah. One-on-one.
That was a college course we took.
All right,
Let's go.
So what do 4 of those 5 strategies look like?
What do they look like?
All right. So these people who did the study gives individual a wide swath of choices to draw from. That's the word swath.
Swath.
So I'm gonna take the first one and then we'll move on.
Swath.
Therapy. This might mean individual therapy, or for those who have relapsed but are in danger of continuing to use. It could mean returning to and substance use disorder treatment program, specifically one that offers a relapse preventative curriculum, a number of therapeutic techniques, including cognitive behavioral therapy and acceptance and integration training, can challenge and change the relationship between those with substance use disorders, individual, and the substances that have caused them so many problems. And so, like the article says, you can either try a therapeutic facility. We offer those who come to us seeking help and aid to a residential treatment that we feel and we know that it's from an evidence base. And they teach those or provide cognitive behavioral therapy. And that is dealing with the mind of behavior, changing the behavior. Change the thought, replace it with negative with positive reinforcement, you can get a better outcome. So
that's good stuff, because a lot of times the CBT part of it happens in a lot of individuals. I'm speaking from a personal perspective. Even though I was actively using substances, I used to say positive affirmations to myself. And years later, I didn't know that the power of my mind was actually going to help me get out of the situation I was in. So I wouldn't actually say, somebody might say, yo, he's a crackhead. And I would be like, I don't know who they talking to. Even though I was actually doing crack. I was like, I don't know who they talking to, but they definitely ain't talking to me. So I would never feed my mind negative information. A lot of times we hear what people say to us, and then we basically tell it to ourselves.
Yeah.
So you got to cognitive behavioral therapy deals with changing your mindset. And it's also therapy can be for individual therapy. It can be for groups. It can be for family. One of the big things in clinical treatment is to try to get the individual to do some family therapies or family sessions, because the individual that's struggling with the substance use disorder have affected a lot of people in their circle. So when you can get the family dynamic into therapy, I think the success rate gotta be higher.
wow, I like that. Holistic.
Yeah, it gotta be higher, man.
Yeah, because a lot of times if you exclude that aspect, they don't, because now you're not giving them the tools as well to better understand the person who's suffering from the disease.
Yeah, because they need to know.
They need to know as well.
In their love, our family dynamics are genuine as far as how they want to help the individual, but they just might lack knowledge of, they can be educated all they want. They might not be educated in that field. So if they not been in the family session, you're able to educate them. You can actually do a group. First Step used to do a group years ago where they have 1 week, 1 day of the group. It would be, you invite your family and the family get educated as a whole, not just the person that's at First Step, but the family comes and they do an educating. Chuck used to do that all the time. Let's look at the next one, medication. While there are 3, did you want to read it? While there are 3 federal approved drugs and medication-assisted treatment programs around the country, only naltrexone has the addictive priorities in and of itself. It shows some effectiveness when used by alcoholics, but for opiates, it's been game-changing medication that has helped tame craving, one of the hardest mental hurdles for addicts to overcome, that craving. Remember I told you?
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't get, I would be clean, and all I would be hearing and thinking about was heroin. Like, I gotta get the heroin. I say, man, and I used to actually tell, like, babe, I'm thinking about, I gotta get some heroin or something, man. So that craving is, they say it's one of the hardest mental hurdles. And that's, craving, that craving, boy, that thing call you. And that's why, if you notice, when we refer people to detox and they get to detox and they start to feel a little better, that craving be calling them, like, come out of detox and come get me. And no matter if they getting something to help with the craving, that thing is a mental hurdle.
Something will trigger it.
Yeah.
Something, a smell.
Smell, I was about to say a smell.
Right? A smell, a memory, association, or familiarity.
Yeah. You see a person in rehab, that you used to use with, something. So
that's right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Huh?
I said, wow.
Yeah, you see somebody now, all of a sudden, man, and then don't let them have courage. And they have conversations like, yeah, man, because the sickness of what we're talking about is very powerful. And again, I'm telling you from my own personal experience, when I will go be in rehab, this was my plan of action. I knew I was clean, so I knew I could call everybody in my family for money. So I would get them to send me $50, you send me 40, you send me 30. But I was planning the setup for when I left. I was selling it. I know they'll send it because I'm in here. Yo, send me $40, send me $30, send me $40, send me $40, send me $40. I wasn't really trying to, I was getting cleaned in, but I was like, yeah, when I go home and relapse, I'm gonna have money. And that's how I would do it. And that's the sickness of it. That's why when they say the sickness of the disease, that's real. That's not a fake thing. That's not just a saying. That's literally happening.
And when they talk about distorted thinking and manipulative, conniving, and seizing, things of that nature, conning, that's what the behavior or the disease does. Have a stronghold. But once you get past that stronghold, it's hard. Some people need the medication. Go along with the therapy.
Once you get past it, though, anywhere but back. Monitoring. You got it?
For individuals in certain safety-sensitive jobs, the success rates of recovery are higher because monitoring is required in order for them to return to work. But what about those who aren't recovering under pressure from an employer? That's one reason enrolling in an intensive outpatient program can be beneficial. Early recovery can be perilous territory for those grappling with a drug or alcohol problem anyway. As officials with Shatterproof point out, while detoxification begins the process of detoxifying your system from the effects of drugs and alcohol, it doesn't reverse the changes in the brain that have been caused by drugs or alcohol.
That's so good.
As a result, the recovering brain will always be more susceptible to a craving, acting a compulsion to use. That's why long-term treatment is important for long-term recovery. Enrolling in an IOP program where participants are often required to submit to random drug testing can provide the monitoring those individuals may need to hold themselves accountable in early recovery.
That is why long-term treatment is important for long-term recovery. I try to tell all the individuals that I mentor, that I sponsor, that I do everything with, that I went to one program and I stayed 3 months. I left that program and went and did 5 months after there. After the 5 months, I stayed to do 3 more months. That was long term. Like I didn't just arrive here. Like I literally put in the work. And I tell people all the time, just detox won't get it when you have been spending 20-something years doing something that has been hurting your life. You have to consider that long-term treatment is important for long-term recovery or long-term success. You gotta put it in.
Even 30 days of residential treatment.
Yeah.
That's not, to me.
No.
I don't think, and just like the article says, some people need long-term because a lot of times, sad to say, those with Medicaid who don't have private insurance, that's all they're able to get. But there are some programs like the Salvation Army, right, Mike?
Yeah. You don't need insurance.
Right, they offer long-term, and so we encourage that a lot. So yeah, that's very good.
All right, what else we got?
Peer support.
All right.
There's a reason that in recovery circles, it's often said that meeting makers make it, because anecdotal evidence has long demonstrated that those who take part in recovery programs, web steps or otherwise, with peers, can be an effective deterrent to relapse. Science and medicine concur. After evaluating 35 studies involving the work of 145 scientists and outcomes of 10,080 participants, professors of psychology and behavioral sciences and his fellow investigators determined that the AA was nearly always found to be more effective than psychotherapy in achieving abstinence, according to a March report by the Stanford School of Medicine.
It's good stuff, man. It's good stuff. It says you relapse, what now? Let's get to work.
Let's get to work.
Let's look at these last 5 points down here. We're going to go over to those. You relapse, what now? It's time to get to work.
Time to go to work.
So the first thing we want to do and we want to talk about is change your life. Recovery involves creating a new life in which it is easier not to use. When individuals do not change their lives, then all of the factors that contribute to their addiction will eventually catch up with them. It's important to point out that change doesn't happen overnight, nor does it have to involve drastic overhaul. In many cases, small changes have had a great impact. And if they make the necessary changes, good God, they can go forward and be happier than they were before. That's crazy. That's my mission statement. But when you make the changes that are necessary, what are necessary changes? Everything in our lives that that makes up the person you don't actually have to be changed. Like I'm telling you, it's not everything in your life that you have to change, even though the substance has to go. But everything else doesn't always necessarily have to change. It's only some small areas that need to change. Some of the stuff that I used to enjoy doing when I was actively using, I still do today. I just do them sober. I didn't change. I still am that same person that likes doing this, that likes doing that like eating this food. I'm still the same person. I just had to make some small changes, and that's all you have to do when you're changing your life. Let's go to the next one.
Be completely honest. It is often said that recovering individuals are as sick as their secrets. One of the challenges of therapy is to help clients practice telling the truth and practice admitting when they have misspoken and quickly correcting it.
Wow. The next one, ask for help. That peer support stuff, joining a self-help group has been shown to significantly increase the chances of long-term recovery. The combination of a substance abuse program and self-help group is the most effective combination.
Come on now.
Mhm.
All right, practice self-care. I heard a guy, man, do a teaching on this right here. It was a pretty good. If you want the PowerPoint, let me know. I'll send you the video link to that. I already kept that. It says that persons struggling with substance use disorder are often self-sufficing and binary thinking. It's often an all or nothing approach to life. But that's one reason why the person that's struggling can still go to meetings, work with a sponsor, work on 12 steps, and still relapse. Wow. Part of challenging the addictive thinking is to encourage clients to see that they cannot be good to others if they are first not good to themselves. Practice self-care.
Wow.
If you can't take care of yourself, you're not going to take care of others. Practice self-care. It's very important, guys. And lastly, what we got?
Don't bend the rules. Broadly speaking, once clients have been in recovery for a while, they can be divided into two categories, non-users and denied users.
Wow.
Non-users say that using was fun, but acknowledge that it has not been fun lately. They want to start the next chapter of their life. Denied users will not or cannot fully acknowledge the extent of their disorder.
It wasn't that bad. The good old times. I said, man, it wasn't no good old times when we was using. We was playing Russian roulette with our lives. How was it good?
All the bad behavior that came with that.
You literally putting a gun to your head.
Consequences. There are good consequences and there are bad consequences.
Yeah.
One that you choose to do,
It's up to you. This
is
has been great.
very imperative. So choose the right one.
That's right. Remember, we talked about after you have relapsed, what we're going to do now. Don't go back, number one. Definitely don't go back. That's the last thing you got to remember. Don't go back. Make small changes. Make small adjustments. That's perfect. That's a good one right there. Once you do that, you don't have to change everything. The first thing you got to move is the substance. The rest, you have to go part by part to make up the person that you are. Again, this is Capital Recovery Center All Recovery Meeting. We are glad that you are tuned in. And if you're watching this at a later date and you have any questions or comments, you can leave it in the comment section. Anything, questions, comments, concerns, criticism about Craig, anything. Just leave it in the comment section. We'll get back with you.
Yeah, and if you want to speak to someone, call me, and I'll be able to lead you in the right direction anywhere but back.
Anywhere but back. All right, guys.